All right, we're going to be learning about verb tenses today. So I know you have worked with the different tenses of verbs in the past in different grade levels. So this should be kind of like a review for you. And you do use these pretty well in your everyday language anyways, so it might make total sense to you even if you don't remember talking about these in past years. All right, so verb tenses is our title. We do not have any foldables in our packet for this, so we just have some notes we're taking today. So please follow along. All right, tense, just the basic word. Definition, tells the time of a verb happening. Okay, so then whatever word is in front of the word tense tells you when or the exact time of that verb happening. All right, so let's look at the first one. A little one there. Past tense. So obviously these are verbs that have happened or in action. That happened in the past. So before the current time going on. So usually, for most cases, you add ed to the end or d to the end of a verb, depending on if that's a regular or irregular verb, and we'll get into those in a second. We'll do some examples here. Box equals boxed. So right now I box up goodies to give. Yesterday I boxed up goodies to give. So then another one, wave. Right now I wave. Yesterday I waved hello to my neighbor. Okay, so that we just added a D to the end. If a verb ends with a consonant, which we know what those are, plus Y, you're going to change the Y to I. And add ed instead of es like we were used to doing. So here's some examples. Carry. Right now I carry my books to class. But yesterday I carried my books. So we're actually going to subtract the y. So it's kind of like a little math equation here. Add I and add ed equals carried. Okay, so we are pretty familiar with that, just with nouns. Same thing, but it's just dealing with a verb now, not a noun. All right, another one. If a verb has a short vowel, has a short vowel with one consonant, double the consonant, then add ed. Okay, now I'll explain what the short vowel is in a second here. So double the consonant and add ed. So example, the word tip, like you tip the waiter or waitress. Okay, the short vowel here is eh. It's not saying I. It's not saying the name of that vowel. It's the short version or the short sound of that vowel. Ah, and Those would all be short vowels. So if you have a short vowel plus a consonant at the end, in order to make it past tense, you have to double that consonant. So yesterday I tipped the waitress. Okay? Another one could be stop. So it's not saying oh, it's saying ah. So then we have to double that consonant to make it past tense. Okay? All right, so that's all past tense. So pause here if you need to finish up these notes, and then we will move on to present tense. So present tense, let's do right here, number 2. Present tense. This one's pretty simple. An action that is happening in current time. And I don't have any examples put down for that because that is just the main verb, just as it is. You don't add anything to the end unless you're talking about right now. You could add ing to it, but that is usually just the main verb. All right, so pause here if you need to finish up present tense. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the last tense. So number 3 is future tense. So these are an action that will happen in the future. Okay, so future tense, that makes pretty good sense. All right, so when you are writing these verbs, you're going to add in the helping verb will. Most likely, adding that before the singular present tense form of the verb. Okay, so if the verb is to shop, tomorrow you will shop for Christmas presents. If the verb or the present tense verb is scrub, next week I will scrub the floors. If the verb has an ending, like S at the end, you're going to drop the ending or drop it before adding will. Okay, so here's an example of that so that you know what that ending is talking about here. Okay, so the ending or the example, Bob rakes the lawn. So right now that is talking about current time or present tense. It's Bob is raking the lawn right now, or he rakes the lawn. But in the future, if we're changing that, and because it has this ending here, we're going to end up changing it to Bob will rake the lawn. And this is just saying at some point, we don't really know, it's not really specified when in the future he will rake the lawn, but it's saying he will rake. So you kind of get that sense subconsciously that it is going to happen in the future. So see how we had to drop that S. We don't say will rakes the lawn. We get rid of the S or the ending and just keep the singular present tense form of the verb. Okay, here's another one. So Jan ate the apple. This is past tense now. Now this is an irregular form of a verb, and we will work on that on a different day. But if you're changing this verb to be present or future tense from past tense, it will end up becoming Jan will eat the apple. So most likely, if you're going to add the word will in front, all this is saying right here is make sure that it's the main form of the verb before you put the will on there. Okay, so ate, yes, that's correct. That's the right way to put it. But if you're going to add the word will, you need to change it just to the main verb, the main root of that verb. So what is the verb originally? Okay. All right, so that's all today. Tomorrow we will spend some time practicing with this. So all you are doing today is taking the notes and having those done and ready to go. So what I will do is I'll keep this here. If you need to pause this to finish up these notes, please go ahead. Otherwise, you are done for today's lesson.